Hello, it's my first video in a long while. I decided I'm going to make a new logo for my YouTube account, so I started off with a sketch, and that was my first attempt at doing some marker work. So this is the process I often follow. I do a rough sketch on some newsprint paper, and then attach that to a board. In this case I've got a glass chopping board, and then I'll put a final drawing paper over the top and just trace out the lines I want to keep for my sketch. I do line the pencil work first because it's a bit easier to do the inking afterwards on top of pencil lines than it is to try and do the tracing and the inking at the same time. So here I've got my set of Faber-Castell Pitt pens. I've used these for quite a while now, and I start off with the finest pen just to get the basic lines down. So that's the I think S for small in my set of 4 pens. So I'm just running over all the lines in the pencil, choosing the ones I want to keep to this final editing phase here, and just putting the lines for all the pencil that I've put down so far. So as this is a first video I've done in a long while, you'll see my head popping into shot quite a few times. I only had one attempt to draw this, so unfortunately you just have to put with the back of my head a few occasions. Okay, so here I'm taking out the pencil and doing that with a kneaded eraser. I just found that quite handy. It doesn't take too much of the ink back off again. So when I've got the first layer of inks down with the finest nib, I then take the medium nib, which is the largest solid fibre nib in the pen set, and go over the most important, most prominent lines. So they're generally the outline of the whole image, and then the bottom of the chin here to keep the head look complete, and then also the eyes and the mouth and the bottom of the nose, just to highlight the main features of the face. Then the bottom there just come around the shoulders and the edges where the material and skin meet. They tend to be a bit darker. Then this is my third pass of the ink. I'm just darkening any areas where lines cross, or there's dark areas where material and skin touches. Okay, so here's my first attempt with a marker. So I got a set 2, I think it was, of the Pro markers from Electroset, and this is my first attempt in the world of markers. I thought I'd try them out because they look to be much faster to use than putting down all the graphite rendering that I tend to do, and so I just wanted to get, in this case, a quick idea of how the image would look, and also to start working with some colour for a change. That's the top of my head to keep it almost permanently short there. So what I did here was I started with the darker inks and put them around the edges. And I've watched few YouTube videos to get some advice on how to use these markers. The two approaches that I noticed was either to put down the darker outlines first, then your mid-tones just to blend the dark lines in, then finally the lightest tones and blend in the mid-tones, or sometimes go over all 3 just to get a good blend there. And that's what I tried on this, and I was quite happy with the results. And I largely tried this way first, thinking that if I put large areas of the darker tone in, I need to use less marker for the mid-tones and then less again for the highlights. Whereas the other approach I've seen, which is quite effective, is you cover the entire area with the lightest tone, and then do the mid-tones, allowing that to blend into the already dampened paper, the light tones, and then finally the dark tones over the top. Now, having done this with the dark to light, I thought that'd be more economical with the markers, but later on, at the end, full shot off my head there. So later on with the markers, what I did do was try the approach of laying all the lighter tones down then and blending the darker tones in afterwards. I did actually find that much easier to work with and have a better result. So that's maybe something I'll try in the future. Here again, I also tried to work in smaller areas so that I couldn't have too long to dry, and I did intend to do all 3 sections of the shoulders and the neck separately so I could blend the colours. But after I started, I sort of forgot that more and ended up doing all 3 together. Fortunately, it wasn't too bad. The markers, once I put the next layer on, did sort of reactivate the layer underneath and it started to dry. Now in my limited set I didn't really have very good colours for lips and eyes, so I used a pink and mixed it with a bit of a brown to get the lips there. And for the eyes I just went for the blue set, so my eyes aren't quite that blue, but it's all that I had available. And then similarly with the top, I just had to use the colours that I had sort of matching them against. But it's just for a bit of a fun logo, so I wasn't too concerned to get the colour spot on. Get this larger area with the blue, I used the finer nibs. I probably would have been better off using the wider chisel end of the markers, which I do in a short, like there you go. I use the wider nibs on the colours I'm doing for the wood of the pencil top. And then I wasn't sure which colours to go for, so I mixed first of all an almond and then a peach. A few samples there, try and scrap a bit of paper there to see how the inks look. And then this yellow looks quite dark initially before it dries, but it's a very nice yellow, very bright. And I had the challenge here of trying to blend a yellow into the skin tone at the top. Well, it's two skin tones, so I had the darker tones and lighter tones. And I was really impressed, it worked really well, these markers. I said, never having used them before, I was expecting them to be a lot more difficult, so I was pleasantly surprised by that. And here, again, I'm just trying to work out which are the best nib ends to use, and again, it seems to be the wider nibs for this size picture. I can imagine people using these markers for stamping and things like that, the smaller ended nibs would be much better. I didn't have a black marker, so I used my pen brush again for the end. That's the final image and ready to go onto my YouTube account. So hopefully ready for my next upload.